people who relocate here, they say that made all the difference in their decision. We literally have had people say, our art center and our professional productions, which rival Broadway, I'm just gonna say, they do, really made the difference.
Yeah.
We are having auditions for our fall opening show, which has come from away. You're gonna wanna see
Sneak peek.
Sneak peek,
Only heard it here
everyone.
on
No
Real
one knows
Talk.
this yet.
So the theater holds 349 seats.
Correct.
Why not 350?
It would fit us in a different category.
So you guys have seen a lot of artists and performers coming through. Are there any that come to mind that have left a legacy or a mark in your mind?
I mean, you probably know off the top of your head some statistics about how impactful it is for kids who are in the arts or who wouldn't be exposed normally and then have that exposure. There's a less dropout rate, there's a higher SAT. I mean, it really changes their trajectory of their lives. And the finale, the crescendo of crescendo, is the Lantern Parade.
Everyone, it's free. Everyone in the public is invited to come, bring an illuminated sculpture of your choice, and parade down the beach.
Welcome to Real Talk Hilton Head with David and Dale Cross, the real estate lifestyle podcast of Coastal Carolina.
Join us as we share stories from our community, insight into the local lifestyle, and the real scoop on real estate.
From market trends to home design, we dive deep into what it means to live and thrive here.
Discover the state of mind and philosophy of the Lowcountry that enriches life through personal growth, health and wellness, and human connection.
Whether you're a local or thinking of becoming one, we're here to guide you through the ins and outs of living this coastal escape.
Tune in, relax, and enjoy the conversation with Real Talk Hilton Head,
the podcast of Coastal Carolina.
This episode is brought to you by the David Dale team, powered by eXp Realty in Hilton Head.
Welcome to Real Talk Hilton Head, the podcast where we explore the real estate, lifestyle, and the culture of Coastal Carolina.
In today's episode, we're diving into the heartbeat of the arts in the Lowcountry, how creativity, community, and education come together in a powerful and meaningful way.
Yeah, so today we're going to be shining the spotlight on the Arts Center of Coastal Carolina. It's a place that does so much more than host world-class performances. It literally transforms lives, especially young ones, through art.
You'll meet Alana Adams, the Senior Director of Education, who blends science and self-expression to ignite young minds. Originally from Noonan, Georgia, she has called Hilton Head home since 2006 and has inspired creativity at the Arts Center since 2007.
With a BFA in art education from Georgia State University and a deep background in both ceramics and sculpture, Alana is a passionate advocate for the youth and has a special heart for working with children with special needs.
And joining her is Andrea Gannon, the Senior Vice President of Marketing. With over 38 years of experience, including key roles with Sea Pines Resorts and Marriott Vacations International, Andrea brings a dynamic vision to the Arts Center with both branding, outreach, and community engagement.
She's not only a marketing leader with a degree from Emory's Guazetta Business School, Andrea is also an actress, a creative writer, and a dedicated volunteer with numerous local organizations that serve children, education, and the arts.
Together, Alana and Andrea will show us how art isn't just a performance, it's a calling, a way to educate, to connect, and uplift the community.
So, whether you're a parent, an artist, a teacher, or just someone who loves the island, this episode will inspire you to see the arts in a whole new light here on Hilton Head.
Let's jump on in.
Well, welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, we're excited. This is one of, we were talking about earlier, we are excited about this episode.
Good.
And for everybody who's watching and listening, you know, when we say we want to give you the lifestyle of the Lowcountry, this is an episode you really got to tune in. We want you to like, we want you to share, we want you to subscribe, because you're going to get the heartbeat of what it means to be embedded into the community of Hilton Head. It's not just a beach town. There's so much more here, and these ladies are going to share it with us.
Yes.
Thank you. Great. We'd love to share it with you.
Well, I'm going to start off, and I have a question, and either one of you can answer it, but in a place known for its beauty and leisure, how has the Arts Center here on Hilton Head carved out a deeper kind of enrichment for locals and visitors alike.
We really are a cultural hub for the island, and it sets Hilton Head apart from other beach-oriented towns because people who relocate here, they say that made all the difference in their decision. We literally have had people say our art center and our professional productions, which rival Broadway, I'm just gonna say, they do, really made the difference.
Yeah.
And it's not just the art center. There's such a wealth of cultural offerings on this island that just make it a unique place to live, truthfully.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of clients that do ask specifically that question. Tell me about the arts. Tell me about the culture in the area. Where can I go and get theater?
What kind of what kind of life am I
Yeah,
gonna
what?
get? You know,
That's it.
you know, more than just walking on the beach with my dog and playing pickleball. It's like, what else?
Or
is there?
tennis or golf.
There's all that too. And we love
And we just, last week was the golf and tennis episode. Go look at that now.
And we've got that, and we love it. But when you want culture or you just want entertainment, we have it. We have. Do you want me to go into it?
100%.
Yes,
All right.
go for it. Tell us what the art center does.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
We
what
want you
do you
tell us?
So
all of
our
it.
bread and butter is that we are a professional producing theater. We're actually the largest in South Carolina.
Wow.
That has that standing. There are other theaters that bring in tours. We don't do that. We build a show from the ground up.
So if I can pause you.
Yes.
Yeah, let's
So
talk
for
there.
me, like, I have to admit, I haven't been an artsy kind of guy. Okay, I know, but I'm
David.
changing. I'm growing and growing and growing. So when I heard that term, so there's going to be people out there. You know, I've gone to shows and I've enjoyed them
Sure.
and I've all that, but professional producing theater.
Yes.
What is that? Break that down.
We'll break it down. So professional means we are part of the Actors Equity Union
Okay.
and AEA, and we cast in New York City.
Wow.
That doesn't mean that the actors can't come from LA or Atlanta or Hilton Head. But primarily our actors do come in from New York. They are auditioning as we speak right now. As we're filming this episode, we are having auditions for our fall opening show, which is Come From Away. You're going to want to see
Sneak peek.
Sneak peek,
Only heard it
everyone.
here on
No
Real
one knows
Talk.
this yet. So we're doing that. But we are right next to, in Pearl Studios that are auditioning for Broadway shows.
Wow.
Okay.
So these
That's
same
powerful.
actors are lining
So
up.
they're going over there trying to get that.
Exactly.
Wow, and
Yep.
then they're coming over to.
And they're thrilled to come and work here. They love our island. We just had a cast leave from Waitress. They raved over the weather and the beauty, and we house them in their second row ocean, so they enjoy all the amenities that all of us who live here enjoy by living here. But they also bring their incredible talent.
Wow.
And many have been on Broadway or will be on Broadway.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
amazing.
Yeah, we have.
So that's the talent you're getting
It is.
here on this little
Correct.
72 square mile island.
Exactly.
in
And we get these
southeastern.
people auditioning over and over.
Over
Once
and
they've
over.
been to
Oh,
Hilton
yes,
Head,
exactly.
Over and over.
Because
One
they
after
wanna
another
come back.
gig
They want to come back. That's right.
Hilton Head.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that breaks down the professional part of it. The producing part of it means that we get the rights to a show once we decide on our season and what available rights we have. A lot of people will say, why aren't you doing Phantom of the Opera? Well, because we can't get the rights yet.
Okay.
But the new cool stuff that we can get the rights to, the second stuff comes out, we are contacted usually even by the rights houses and saying, do you want to do this, et cetera.
Wow.
And the combination of the two of what we all know we would love to do with what's available puts our season together in terms of the 5 producing professional shows that we do every year.
So
that's-
every year
yeah.
there's 5.
Every year.
5.
And how long do they run?
It varies by the season, but fall is usually 4 to 5 weeks. Then we have a holiday show that's ditto 4 or 5 weeks. February is a little shorter, usually 3 or 4. Spring, 5-ish. Summer is our longer run.
Okay.
So we'll do 6 to 8 weeks depending on
So
what else
folks
we
are
have going.
coming in town,
Yes.
thinking they're just going to ride their bikes and go to the bank or local
Little
legends.
do they know.
It's a cultural hub.
That's right, it is.
So they got to be planning that for their trip as part of it.
Exactly.
Like, hey, let's go see a great show.
That's right.
Okay.
So,
So, sorry, I do have an off-the-cusp kind of question for you, because I've been dying to find out, doing a little bit of research. So the theater holds 349 seats.
Correct.
Why not 350?
It would put us in a different category.
Oh, I knew there had to be an answer.
She literally was like, I don't get it. Why 349?
Why?
So what does that do?
So we are an SPT 7 theater, which means we need 7 equity actors per show. And we can have, the rest can be non-equity, and they're still equally amazingly talented.
What does equity mean?
That's a union.
Oh,
So that's the
got it.
actors
Okay.
union,
I got it.
but for
Understood.
theater. So for SAG, and it's film and TV is SAG,
Got
and
it.
this is AEA is for live theater.
Got it.
So we are part of that.
So you have to have 7
7 per show.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so now if you had 350 seats, how many would you have to have?
Oh, you know what?
A lot more.
Here's
Sorry, I didn't know what you had this one.
Well, the next category up is a LORT theater, and it just has different, it just has different things. Now, do we wish we had 500 seats? Probably, yes, we probably do, because what I can also tell you is, aside from our theater series, we have a presenting series as well. So in between those shows, and even during them, we bring in world-class artists of dance.
Really?
Yes, musicians, musical groups. We will have Broadway singers and Broadway groups. We had the Broadway tenors last year. We had amazing Laura Bell Bundy and Marissa. Help. Oh, help. Oh, God, you're going to have to cut this part, but I can't remember. Okay, wait.
Comedians.
Yes, let's go back to that. So we have a presenting series that has world-class artists from music, comedians, Broadway singers, talent beyond all recognition, and they will come in for 1, 2, or 3 nights. We've had Leanne Morgan twice.
Oh, wow.
You know the comedian?
Yes, yes.
And people will say, why don't y'all get Leanne? We're like, sorry you missed it, because we had her twice.
Oh my gosh.
And she sold out. So we do bring in a ton of talent. Yeah. Those are people we bring in that we don't, it's not a created situation. Theater is separate. And then part of what Alana does is she handles all of our educational programs, and that's a big part of the Art Center as well.
Yeah. Are you thinking about making a move to the Lowcountry?
Whether you're searching for the perfect home, or you're exploring vibrant communities on the coast, or dreaming of a new lifestyle, we're here to help.
Contact the David Dale team today, and let's make your dream a reality.
You've had a huge part of growing that part of the theater, haven't you?
I have.
Yeah.
I've been there over 18 years. I'm in my position there at the Art Center. And definitely, it's evolved. There's some programs that I kind of inherited when I, first came on board that they're tried and true. We're still doing them to this day. And there's some that have kind of evolved with the community and the needs, doing homeschool programs or, specialty programs for groups that have a special interest, and then we cater something for them. We used to work with Heritage Academy back when I first came on board, and we were helping those students who their passion wasn't tennis or golf. Their passion was the arts and theater.
Wow.
And we were helping them get the education that they needed to meet the qualifications to be prepared, for the workforce in that. Wow. So we have gone through, ebbs and flows with times and needs. We partner with lots of organizations. They'll come to us and say, hey, can you partner with us on this or that? We work with, one of the most exciting ones was Michelin. For 7 years got to partner with Michelin North America, who has their hub up in Greenville, I believe it is, in South Carolina. And they have a design challenge, like an automotive design challenge.
Oh, wow.
It's a professional challenge with like a winner and worldwide entries.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to pilot a junior design challenge program, and they picked Beaufort County and the Art Center as a partner. And the students work in the end as it was curated. They got, monetary awards, big checks, and they got to have their work on display at the Concours d'Elegance, the motoring festival that we have every year.
Wow.
Way.
So they got to have their car designs judged by all these famous car maker, engineer people. Like, what an opportunity for Hilton Head students to have, that partnership. So we partnered with Heroes on Horseback, who did, they do like adaptive arts or equine therapy, but we did adaptive arts that would intertwine. It would all be equine related for them. So through the years, we've had different organizations and different needs. We always try to stay in tune to what our community needs and what kinds of resources we have there. But then we have our tried and trues that always are going to happen, like our community education, workshops and summer camps, and then all
which
the
we're
stuff
going to
that
get
we do
into
in
in a
the
big
schools.
time. Yeah, we definitely want to talk about those.
So the car
that's
design thing,
amazing.
like I'm actually because it's brilliant on their part, right? Get some creative little kid who's free, who's still in that imagination mode, and say, hey, what are your ideas?
They give them a challenge. They'll be like, you have to go from here to here in the year so and so. How are you going to get there? So every year it would change. The challenge would change to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
And
Do you
the
have any
kids-
of the art? I would
Oh my
love to
gosh,
add that as
I
a layout overlay.
Have some at the studio. Yeah. I
Would you send some to us?
I would love to see
Totally.
what they came. Did it? So
They're
did anybody? So was it only Beaufort County that year when you partnered with them?
Yeah, we did it for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And then so each time it was every high school in Beaufort County participated. It was all open to high school students as well as the Boys and Girls Club after school programs.
Yeah.
So every high school would curate it down to their top finalists and submit those to Michelin.
Yeah.
And then they would have their professional designers judge them. And
Did
so
Hilton Head
by the
ever
time
win?
They came. Hilton Head High School. Trying to think if anybody won from Hilton Head High School. I don't remember anybody winning, but I could be wrong. No, I think the little Kudahy boy was from Hilton Head.
Oh, great.
He might have won one.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Years.
But I'm thinking he was in my camps, and I remember him being one of the
That's awesome.
finalists in that. And I was thinking, well, we start them young with curating this.
That's right.
Yes.
You do.
Design.
Yeah,
I love it.
absolutely.
Maybe in the year 2050 we'll be flying his car somewhere.
Yeah, well, they're aimed to get young people involved in wanting this career because it's kind of dwindling. They need fresh ideas, and these kids that have all this new information and technology and things and just bigger ideas, whether it's from their video games or seeing the imaginary world so much a part of their everyday life, has really sparked a lot of imagination and creativity.
Yeah.
So they're tapping into that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we're definitely going to dive in a little deeper to that because I know that's a passion of yours.
Well, I actually have a question off of that. So because you're partnering with the schools as well, correct?
That's right.
Because am I correct in that when I was a kid, which was a long time ago,
Don't date
art
yourself.
was like my favorite class, but it was a really big. It was like every year you had an art class, but it feels like it's kind of faded away a little bit from the public school system.
It's
Good
an
question.
elective,
Well,
but it's
no,
there.
I'm just curious
Well,
because you have
arts
a
in
role
schools
there.
is a whole conversation. You
Yeah.
know, it really
Yeah,
is,
it is.
right? And I mean, you probably know off the top of your head some statistics about how impactful it is for kids who are in the arts or who wouldn't be exposed normally, and then have that exposure. There's a less dropout rate. There's a higher SAT. I mean, it really changes their trajectory of their lives.
And the reason why I ask that is just, as somebody, we're big on development and growth and, thriving as a human, right? And as you get older, the one thing that I've come to realize was if I don't focus on imagination, it's very difficult for me to grow my business or to grow my life. You know what I mean? And then I feel like that's such a key point for anybody. It's like, for us, our clients are older, but that's why arts are so important because it keeps the imagination, which is life.
Leads to the creative problem solving that we need every day in life,
Correct.
regardless.
Right.
There was, we had a keynote speaker at one of our Kennedy Center conferences, Daniel Pink, and he was a neurologist. He studied the brain and the way the brain's pathways worked. And his whole book was about how the arts, particularly music, it was like piano and the stringed instruments because you're having to work with both hands at the same time.
Okay.
How they did maps of the brain when they're doing that. And it's, we know the brain's a muscle, right? Like,
Right.
you don't have to work it to grow it to keep it strong.
Right.
And that's why, we say when we get older, do crossword puzzles and whatever, keep it strong.
Sudoku and all that
It's literally
stuff.
a muscle, right?
Yeah.
And so they've learned by looking at the different pathways of the brain when it's doing music, it's the same as science and math. It's the same lobe in the brain that's working.
Wow.
And so those students through time, ended up, they were able to literally prove that
Wow.
like, they've strengthened that part of the brain through the arts.
Yeah.
And it's led to a stronger, you know, math and science, and that where we're really trying to figure things out because
Yeah.
the brain is strong in that area. And it's cool because we always go to conferences and we have all these artists and art teachers, and we're all like preaching to the choir. And now we have a neurologist telling us that.
I like
Yes.
that.
Well,
yes.
And that was a
adds a different level
we all totally
credibility.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Are you thinking of selling your home?
With our exclusive Elevate package, we combine over 50 years of experience, cutting-edge data analytics, our unique marketing strategies, and our extensive network to help your home rise above the rest.
While maximizing your sales price and minimizing the time on the market.
So contact the David Dale team today to learn more. Well, and I could see that though, because I mean, without imagination, you don't have life. I mean, life is creative. Like, we're creative beings. That's like literally what we are. And so you remove that, and I think all of a sudden you diminish.
Yeah.
Like, everything starts to go away. And that's why I like I said, I haven't really been involved, but the more we studied for the show, the more I'm like, oh yeah, like duh. Like, how did I not see that? Go ahead.
And Alana, a lot of your programs are based on that, right? You put together the math, the science, the English to create the art for the children to express it within the education programs.
Sort of, we call it arts integration, and the idea is that when you're making art, you need certain basic knowledge of things, depending on what you're doing. If we look at Kandinsky's work, you know, it's got angles everywhere. He had very strategic, mathematical ways that wasn't going to be 3 obtuse angles and 2 acute angles. Would that give me balance? You know, would it?
Wow.
So if you don't know that, if you don't know spatial awareness, then you can't draw in 3D in perspective. You have to understand angles and the way that lines intersect each other. Now we're talking about math, you know, about geometry.
That's awesome.
You can't talk about pottery unless you can understand a little bit about.
Let's talk about home design.
Clay.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Home design, spatial design in your house, right?
True.
Yeah, that's right.
I tell my kids all the time, you might not grow up to be a famous artist, but you're going to grow up to be someone who has art in your life and appreciates art and design, because when you go get your first little apartment, you're going to have to pick what kind of toilet brush you're going to buy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to have choices.
It's true.
First, you're going to look at how much it costs,
Yep.
but then you're going to be like, which one do I like the way it looks?
Yeah.
And we all have
or
different
feels,
aesthetics.
or makes me feel.
And we all have different ways of, and that's why there's so many choices, right? And so it's like, it's a part of our everyday life, whether it's your bookshelf or your toilet brush or your dishes that you buy, right?
Yep.
And so it's something that we all innately have this need to make decisions about things and how they make us feel.
Yeah.
You know, and the things that we want come
Exactly.
from that. So we don't even think of it as having anything to do with art, but every day does.
That's right.
So to your note, the arts integration, sort of the same thing. Like, we don't sit around and say, today for an hour we're going to do social studies, and then we're going to do science for an hour.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Our life is that all day long. It's
Right.
math, it's social studies, it's science,
Yeah.
and it's art.
Yes.
Every day, and we're not even thinking about it. We're making choices of what restaurant we go to. Maybe we like their sign better than someone else's, and that's what gets us in the door.
Purchases, packaging.
True.
Is
Yes.
art. I mean,
It
this
is,
time
for
I'll go for
sure.
packages. I like that package
Oh,
more than I like the
I'm
other
in
one. Maybe that
marketing,
product's better.
And that I'm the biggest sucker for all the
pretty-
marketing ploys. I will get hook, line, and sinker into something, and I know what I'm doing. I
Isn't
know.
it fascinating when you know it's being done to you?
aware.
I'll say to her, I'm like, I know what's being done to me right now.
Oh,
Like, there was
and
this,
I accept it.
Yeah, exactly.
and when it's really good, I appreciate it. Like, I was on this thing with this guy for our business, and I'm on with him, and the whole time I'm like, first of all, I know where you're going with this. I know what you're doing to me, but you're so good at it that I'm
just
like,
have to
I'm
listen.
enjoying
I have
the
to
process
listen.
because you're just awesome at this.
Right.
You know?
That's great. I love that. And then also to tag on to what Alana said about children and what they take away with their lives, we have a lot of performers that, you know, will have a child that we need for a performance too.
Wow.
And we just had 2 adorable little girls that were in Waitress.
Yeah.
And they shared the role. And what we have found with the kids that have grown up on our stage, they say, you know what? My child didn't necessarily go into theater, but boy, can they public speak.
Wow.
They can give a presentation, whether it's in college. They can, they have no fear of being on a stage in front of people. We've had 2 of our actresses be a part of the TED Talk team.
Wow.
That's amazing.
No fear. No
Yeah.
fear. Beautifully articulate. And I'm convinced beyond the shadow of a doubt that a lot of it had to do with what they experienced on stage.
Wow.
See, I find that so fascinating because it's like you think about life itself, right? And we talked about this pre-show, right? The avatar concept. And I really find in sales, everybody's like, oh, you're so good at it. And I think what I've learned is it's the emotional intelligence, right? Who am I working with? But then to adapt and play a role.
Right. Yes.
Right? Not necessarily being inauthentic, but being available for that person. Being what they need in that moment, what they need to see. And I can see how that would translate into all the skills in life,
Completely.
right? Because,
and discipline.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they have to be on time. They have to sign in when they get there.
Yeah.
If you are late to your call time,
Done.
You're in trouble with the stage manager. You don't want that.
Yeah.
And then the younger kids are working with these professional actors who kind of hold them accountable too. So there's a whole dynamic in that world that really makes it an interesting.
That's awesome.
Be an interesting experiment, like social experiment there. But I've read, if you're going to hire somebody, hire a theater kid because they've had that discipline. And same with dance too, and art. You know, your visual arts. They all, like Alana said, change the brain really as they're developing.
Fascinating. It's very fascinating.
It is.
That's cool.
Wow. So I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. So you used to be in hospitality. And you did marketing for hospitality.
Yes.
So what made you make the leap from hospitality and tourism into the arts?
Well, I really have always been, when I was in high school and college, I did theater.
Okay.
And so that was always in the back of my love language. So this job really, I'm Vice President of Marketing at the Arts Center, really combined marketing, which was my college education at Emory, with this inherent love that I've had forever since childhood.
Yeah.
And I'm very passionate about it and love seeing what comes to life on stage from this concept, from our discussions of like, wouldn't this show be great and how can we bring this to life? And to watch that happen is a magical process.
Wow.
I think you just hit it on the head. Bringing it to life. And that's what I think is the true power of imagination, because like this was imagined before it was ever made, right?
Glass of wine?
Yeah. Well, like that glass is different than this glass, right? And somebody sat down and said, hey, make a remote control and
make something
why does it look like this?
Yeah.
Why is it shaped like, that's what I love about a guy like Elon Musk. You think about how he designs it and like the
vision.
It goes from invisible. But even though it's invisible, it's real.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's the expression creates the life of it and breathes life, and that's what's beautiful about the art.
It is. It's a whole team effort too. I mean, it really starts with the vision of the director, but we have a ton of people on staff that work backstage. And we would love for you all to come and see what we do backstage.
Yes.
People can't believe, right? When they come on a tour and they see Alana's Disney studio upstairs with her kiln and everything else she has going on. And then what they see for productions backstage, we have a giant scene shop where they have welding and painting.
Oh my
and making it.
We're making it, building a house 5 times a year.
Okay, so all right, hold on. I'm excited.
Settle in,
David. So let's get this. So you buy the rights.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now with those rights, does there come strings attached on how the production? Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes it depends on a lot of things. Basically, who the rights holder is. Maybe how old the show is. So if it's a revival, sometimes the older shows are less restrictive.
Okay.
Like what would be an example?
Of an older one?
Yeah.
Well, like 42nd Street.
Okay.
So those rights have been around. We're going to pay less in royalties probably for that show versus something just off of Broadway, like we did The Cottage, which was our play last year. And that was fresh off of Broadway with Laura Bell Bundy and Eric McCormick from Will and Grace. And so the rights might have been a little more for that. Our newer shows, they're a teeny bit more. And sometimes based on who holds the rights, they want to present their work in a way that represents how it was intended.
Got it.
They
That
don't
makes
want,
sense.
we cannot,
brand.
by the way, audiences, we can't change the script. If you're mad about a cuss word, don't blame us.
I was going to say, okay, so that's real.
This
So
is
if
real.
the F word's in there, you got to say the F word.
If we didn't write it, because they'll say, I don't know why you all thought you needed to say this and that.
Yeah.
And we're like, we didn't.
We're
but
not the
when,
playwright.
We're not
Yes.
the playwright. But
Okay.
when we
Right.
choose a show, we have to be true to the source material.
Got
Okay.
it.
And so,
Wow.
and we will get feedback.
I've seen
You have
some bad
expressive
feedback.
creatives in your audience, right? That's what they do.
And we have to tell them, it's like a movie. You
Yes.
can't go see Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise and not expect a sex scene or a language issue. But did you research it before you went? Probably before you took your 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Please do the same with our Art Center shows. Because we're professional theater, we're
Got
not
it.
a community youth theater.
Got
and
it.
I think people confuse that, and they think that we are meant to be a family. Every show has to be family oriented. It's not, frankly. So you need to do your homework. We always have a little disclaimer that says best for ages, blah, blah, blah.
Got it.
And why.
Okay.
And so we definitely encourage people to take a look at that before they buy their tickets, because we have to be true to the material.
Got it. That's fascinating. So when the director gets it, do they have any leeway on
It's funny.
expression?
Some shows have more blocking suggestions, meaning where the actors move, etc., or what this moment should evoke. Some scripts don't. Some
Okay.
scripts are very open to interpretation and allow the director to visually and creatively show what that looks like. Every show can be made on our, budget and level in some way or form.
Got it.
It's not going to be Broadway.
Yeah.
That scale, that budget, because we are a little old nonprofit on Hilton Head. But
349 seats.
that's right. However, many of our shows, we have had people say, I saw this show on Broadway and yours was better. It was
Wow.
more intimate. The talent was every bit as good or better, and we take a creative twist on some things that they can throw money at something. We have to really be creative.
That's what I was going. So backstage, that getting back to the whole thing. So backstage, so you get this.
Yes.
You get the rights. You get everything. Director
Get the
comes in.
script.
Now you guys are like, hey, we got to assemble this.
Yeah.
And a budget to stick to.
Yes.
Budget?
We're a nonprofit. I don't know
That's
if we
right.
mentioned that yet.
No, I might have just said it 30 seconds ago, but that is
Nonprofit
it. Yes.
Theater. So
That's right.
Everything that we do has to be,
Yep.
focused on, keeping that status, making sure that we keep our tickets at a price where it's accessible
Right.
to our community,
Right.
but give, the high caliber experience that everyone expects when they go to a
Exactly.
live theater.
Exactly.
And if I
So
could
it's a
just
delicate
say,
balance with
It
a lot
is.
of smart people at the Art Center that are in management,
Including you.
making it all happen
That's
with
right.
every nickel and dime.
Yes, true.
if I could just say something to the audience, if you want to contribute somewhere on the island, please look at the
Yeah.
Arts
Oh,
Center.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Their
Hilton
take
Head
donations.
supports.
Your,
Appreciate
your,
that.
your
Yeah.
theater. Sorry, I wanted to just
No,
get that in
and,
there.
and can I throw a little kudos our way too? SCORE, which is the group that it's a fabulous group. It's a nonprofit also of retired individuals who mentor different nonprofits. They worked with us last year on a new strategic plan, and we were just voted SCORE's Nonprofit of the Year.
Oh, that's
Very
fabulous.
honored by that.
That's
Very
great.
honored by that.
Here,
But,
here.
Let's cheers.
Cheers. Congratulations.
Gotta have some fun on a podcast.
That's outstanding. That's
No,
real.
we're
That's
very
something to be proud of.
we were
is.
very proud of that and delighted. It was a surprise. But
Yeah.
So I have a question for you back to building everything. Obviously, we're on a budget. The directors, where are they coming from? Are they local? Are they in New York? Or what?
we have, I think, one that's local, and the rest are from New York.
Okay, so they
So do
are
you cast for that as
Actually,
well?
I take, well, not cast exactly,
okay.
but yes, that decision is
Contracted.
made.
Contracted.
Contracted.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, exactly.
Forgive me.
Right. No, you're right.
I'm being
learning.
cultured as the show goes.
exactly.
I'm learning. I'm growing.
Last year and this coming year, we have 2 that are local, and the other 3 are from New York.
Wow.
Yep. So
It depends, because some are like great for musicals, because we do some
That's
that
right.
are just plays,
Yes.
and some that are musicals.
Yeah.
And then some people have a gift in one area,
That's
the
right.
other directing.
Exactly.
And different
Yeah.
people have different talents.
For example,
take that into
our
consideration.
summer show, is called Summer, the Donna Summer musical.
Yes.
That is
I saw that.
summer
Yes.
show.
Actually,
Say
I saw
summer one more
it
time.
marketed somewhere.
Thank you.
Someone
did see
marketed it.
Good. Somebody did. And the director for that is Patro Harris. He won a Lifetime Achievement Award for directing, and he's also the choreographer. But we chose him specifically for this show because he had done it last year and had really made a lot of, he figured out some areas that were not great in the book and was able to present it in a great way.
That's awesome.
Because it is Donna Summer's music. My gosh, she's got 30-plus songs in that show.
Yeah.
There are 3 Donnas. There's a young Donna,
wow. How
and the
cool.
diva Donna. So it's going to be really fun. But that is another example of, we looked at the show and then said, he's going to be the best person to direct this because he's had experience with it, he knows its pitfalls, and he knows how to make it better. So we're excited.
Who is picking those people? Who's doing the casting and who's contracting?
So really 2 people. Jeffrey Reeves is our CEO and president of the Arts Center.
Okay.
And Richard Feldman is our vice president and general manager.
Okay.
He is actually with our director for Come From Away right now at Pearl Studios in New York City. And doing the casting on site.
Wow.
They wrap in a choreographer and the music director as well to help with that. And usually we'll get a reader from New York to help with the actors, et cetera, and doing scenes. But so Richard and Jeffrey are really the ones that kind of discuss who the directors will be.
Wow.
And they know who's done what, and they've both been there 20-plus years. So
yeah.
that's
fascinating.
Yeah,
it
great.
is. It's really cool.
And then what? Richard and the directors get to help with to do the casting.
Oh,
at
well,
that point.
Richard and the directors do the casting.
After that.
After
First
that,
you got to figure
exactly.
your director
That's
is,
right.
and then they work
Yes,
together
sorry,
to do
that's
the casting.
exactly.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay, of course the director wants to pick who they, because they've got to pull out of them. These actors are almost like instruments, and they're looking at them like, okay, what can I pull out of you for this role?
Exactly.
That's fascinating
It is.
to me, to be able to spot that in a human and pick it up and be like, all right, I can take this character and you shape you into it. I mean, that is a really...
It is. It's a talent.
Yeah, it is.
We had Something Rotten, which was our season opener for this current season that we're in. So that was last fall, 2024. And there were over 6,000 people to submit.
Wow.
What?
To submit. So they submitted their videos. The director and Richard sorted through
6,000? And they have to look at them all, don't they?
Well, they sort through and look at, some are obviously wrong for the part.
Yeah.
So if that's, if it's completely wrong, they might not. But I'm not speaking for them because
I get it.
Knowing them, they probably do.
Sure.
But they cull that down to about 200 that they will see in person in New York.
Wow, that's a lot
Yeah, it's
of people.
a lot of people. It's about 3 days and callbacks and dance calls and acting. And do these 2 have chemistry? So it's...
Well, I've often thought about that, too, because there's this show we're watching now, Suits. You ever see Suits?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Suits LA.
Yes. Oh, I hadn't seen that one. It's
Okay,
good.
what's the new one?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good.
But there's this relationship on camera. The one guy that went to the I forget his name now even. And they're kind of in the relationship, and I'm always like, it doesn't fit for me. Like whoever cast them, like I can't see them being together.
Doesn't feel authentic.
No, it's like you're like that would never happen in real life. Like who casted him? I think about that.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny. No, it's true. It makes a huge difference in the success.
And being able to figure that out. Well, that's pretty cool.
So you guys have seen a lot of artists and performers coming through. Are there any that come to mind that have left a legacy or a mark in your mind?
Do you want to take it?
You go right ahead.
You jump in. We had Leslie Odom Jr. for one of our spring benefits, and he had just received the Best Actor award for Hamilton.
Wow.
And
he was here?
He was here, and he performed for us for our spring benefit, and he was just...
huge people are coming
huge
to the
people.
island.
Huge people. Ian Morgan was amazing. I'll never forget Ben Vereen.
Oh my gosh.
He was so
We had Ben
good.
Vereen here?
Oh, yeah. Wow. Our opening performer that kicked off the Art Center was Bernadette Peters.
Oh my goodness.
We've had some really amazing people.
Talented.
Do you have a lot of former or actors who live here?
Yes, some. So, in fact, to bring it back to Alana, we have 2 people who are going to be doing her summer camp at the end of, when is that? The July?
At the end of July.
End of July.
And
Meredith Inglesby and Steve Blanchard. They've been on the Art Center stage. Meredith grew up here, but they're both Broadway actors. In fact, they met at Beauty and the Beast. He was Beast on Broadway, and she was Babette, the French maid. And they met at the call at the sign-in.
Oh, no
yes,
way.
I've heard the story. It's quite romantic. It's so cute.
Oh my gosh.
So the 2 of them are going to be teaching summer camp for, and they've been.
And we're excited.
We're so excited.
Like,
That's
We're so
amazing.
excited.
All right, we
They're
got to
gonna do,
bump
like, an
this episode up, and it's
actor's
really.
And backstage stuff and how to nail
not
an
just
audition.
Like making a play. Like we
No.
do have that next week.
Yeah.
Is, we'll have one
Yes,
where you
Brooke
create a play,
Presidia,
you write your own
amazing.
play. But they're going to do like real workshopping
Yeah.
with the students.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, let's
And
dive into the camp.
Into the craft of acting. We're
Absolutely.
excited about that.
So excited.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Tell us more about the camps. So you were just talking about the crafting. The kids are coming to spend a week with you, and
All of our camps are a
Yeah.
week long,
Yeah.
and they're in the visual and performing arts. So we have everything from the theater. We kick off next week with a theater camp,
Okay.
and then we have a clay camp. We've got several like visual arts camps where you come and make art.
Okay.
We've got performing arts camps. Our Take the Stage camp is where kids can dabble a little bit in acting and singing and dancing. We pair that one with the Mixed Up Masterpieces camp, which is the other half of the day. So if you want your child to get a little bit of all of it, you can bring them all day, and they'll do some visual art and some performing art. We also have an adaptive arts camp. One of the things that I'm passionate about is working with kids with disabilities through the arts. So we have a summer camp for those this summer. And then we're going to end up, at the end of our summer, we'll have a teacher institute with professional development workshops for teachers before they go back. But the camps we've done, some are the same, some are different every summer. Our faculty changes a little bit, but we are so excited to have Meredith and Steve, like real
Amazing.
That's
Broadway
amazing.
level
Yeah.
actors, and Brooke.
And Brooke,
Yeah,
Brooke
talk about
is
Brooke
equally
until next
amazing,
week's
and
camp.
she's got
She's done a little more
film,
Yeah.
TV, and stage. I mean, she's an incredible, and she's done a ton of education stuff too with children,
Right,
and really knows how to bring the creative play, and they're going to write it, perform it. It's going to be
And
great.
it's always amazing.
It's
every
always
Friday,
amazing.
We're like, wow, these kids came up with that. They get to make their own play. There's no preconceived notion.
Yeah.
They
The
make their own
instructor
play
is the
during the
director,
camp.
And just helps, steer them in directions or away from directions, I should say, while teaching them about character and plot development. And, we have to have, a conflict. We have to have a resolution.
Right, exactly.
All these parts of a story that we're learning in language arts, which is part of our arts integration, right?
Yes.
It's all tied into everything else.
God.
So we're excited about that one.
Yeah.
And every year, I always joke when I'm doing my, welcome parents, thanks for sending your kid here. This is a one night only performance. And then it's poof, done, gone.
Right.
But it's amazing.
It
what
is
the kids come
amazing.
up with. But to her point, having people that have that classroom management skill, because you can do something doesn't mean you can teach it.
Yeah,
right. Across the
1,000%.
board.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm, spending a lot of time curating these instructors.
You've
so that I've
done a
got
great
an
job.
artist, I've got an actor, I've
Right.
got someone with stagecraft, but they can also teach.
That's right.
Has those classroom management skills to get through the week with a bunch of kiddos. And they're creative kids, because we get the kids not that are going to soccer camp, they're coming to art camp because their parents think they're going to enjoy art camp. They're a creative spirit, or they love to sing and dance, and so we end up with lots of energy.
Yes.
Lots of creative energy
Yes.
in every camp session.
You're right.
Because they had other choices of what to do for summer camp, and they and their
I
parents
feel like
chose
they
the art.
almost every kid. The more I listen to you, both of you, the more I get fired up. Like I do. The more I'm, I talk about the hey younger me, right? Hey younger me.
Let's go to camp.
I would go
He needs
back.
to go to odd camp.
As I've gotten older, I've realized like there's the creative side of me that if I don't nurture it, I'm miserable dealing with the test.
He is. If he's down, if he's doing one part of his job, because obviously our life is full with different things, I'm like, you need to go and create something, please.
whatever
go
it is.
and
And
create
that
something.
probably
Go do
brought a
something
lot
creative.
of what your podcast
100%.
is.
That's exactly
This
right.
is, trust me, people ask me all the time, how do I start podcasts? I'm like, well, first of all, you're crazy. You're nuts, because you don't want to do it. This is hard. But it was a release that allows me to do, I love real estate, but it can burn you out. There's a lot that happens. But this was like a fun thing, like, hey, just let me do this and I'll be fine on the real estate side, right? Like,
So I say, go to the studio, sweetie.
even though this is a lot of work, but I listen.
Come back when you're happy again.
The more I listen to you, the more I feel like in some ways it's like we're discovering now that a lot of the things we thought were true aren't true, like food pyramid, for instance.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe breakfast, maybe it's okay to fast in the morning, or not to get into
And maybe you
controversial
want cereal at the bottom.
Right. Maybe sugar first thing isn't the ideal thing. But I almost feel like art has always been, for me, in my perception with school, at least, sort of the side little thing, like an optional thing. And it feels to me like it almost should be a foundational, fundamental thing.
Because of what you said, the left-right brain that needs to be developed, right? You need both sides of that brain.
It's innate for humans to create. We have, what I love most, when I was in college, I studied ceramics and sculpture was my emphasis. My degree was in art education, but you needed an art form.
Did you sketch naked dudes?
All the time.
I think you really just
It's a podcast.
Yeah. Maybe move a little bit closer to the left because you're slowly moving out of the.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so the chair.
I need to go that way.
Chair.
The chair itself.
Yeah,
Okay. Sorry. All right, there you go.
Because we're kind of out of the.
Because
there we go.
over here.
Okay.
She's floating. Sorry, I digress.
I
Yes.
you to get out of the frame and your face.
Perfect. We don't want her out of the frame.
Good job.
And this will all be edited, just so you know.
It's like a good big scene.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Okay,
So back to the naked man.
Hey, do not share that with Dale, please.
We all have these portfolios. But, we have cave art, right? We have pottery shards, that tell us about civilizations, ancient civilizations.
Yeah.
We know that people have always had, we had Greek theater.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, everyone has always had a need to create, and we know this through the artifacts that we find.
And history is told through them.
Everything.
Yes.
Exactly.
Correct. Yes.
I just did a whole lesson last week at the Boys and Girls Club about the Rosetta Stone and what an aha moment it was, because we had the hieroglyphics and we didn't know what to do with them.
And it unlocked it.
And then finally, there was someone who could bridge it for us, and
I love
how that changed, everything we know about Egypt. But without those marks, without those pictographs, we wouldn't have that information. So that's just one example.
It's a
You've got
great
cave art
example.
on every continent. You've got pottery shards on every continent.
Yeah.
We can learn about civilizations from their pottery. How close were they to the water? What kind of sediments did they have in their soil? The erosion has changed through time.
Yeah.
We can find out, maybe were they, a traveling herd of people, or they're staying in one place.
Oh, wow.
By what kinds of utensils and tools and pots and things they were using.
Cool.
What kind of textures they have. If there's rope or there's seashell scrapings. Oh, this must have been seaside at one point. This piece of land, because they had access to shells, because we see shell markings.
Yeah.
So archaeologists thrive on the art of our ancient civilizations to tell us so much about the story.
It's fascinating.
Storytelling.
And the
Always
cave
back to
painting.
storytelling.
How about cave paintings in Africa?
Absolutely.
That's
right.
showing you what happened
In Australia.
Yes,
And
Aborigines.
Well, and I feel like today, too, we're moving into an era where everything now is, it's visual, like video. You can't do anything in life right now unless you're on video or a podcast or something like that.
Right.
It's visual arts, it's storytelling, it's connecting people. We're in real estate, but what are we doing now? We're connecting people to the creative side and all that. And to me, it's like, oh my gosh, the more I sit and listen, I'm like, this is just foundational. This is the piece of life that we
really
all
is.
need, that everything kind of flows from. It's not this side little thing. It's sort of center because everything flows out of it.
Yeah. And what's different than being at home watching Netflix is that you have a shared heartbeat. I've read that your heart beats it starts to sync with everyone in the theater.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're all doing that together. And what a great communal thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is that we're all experiencing this
or you're
together.
all crying at the same time, right?
Yes.
Like, we'll be sitting there watching a show. She's like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I am too," right?
It's true.
The theater is live. Yeah, so that
But,
energy
the
of
theater,
the people.
Everyone field trips.
Yes.
We were fortunate to have Ranky Tanky come for the second time. They're a Grammy Award-winning Gullah Roots band. Amazing. And we had them for a field trip performance. We were talking about earlier about age appropriateness. We do have a field trip program that is specifically designed for younger audiences.
Okay.
So, they can come, and lots of our kids don't have parents that can bring them to the theater. Whether it's accessibility, transportation, the cost. So we have very subsidized tickets for schools to bring kids to the theater to see things that are age appropriate. So one of the things was the Ranky Tanky, and the theater, the vibe in the theater of 349 students with this music and feeling it, and you start seeing a little bit of movement. And by the end, like, all of the fall down chairs are bouncing, and we're like, "Oh, don't spring one." Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to fix that. Yeah, you can't be breaking things in here. But they're bouncing up and down, and it's just their energy feeds off each other, and it does in a live theater. In
what
that
was
way,
the
so
dance
much.
one we had last year, too? And it was this great. Gosh, what was it?
A field trip that you
Yes, it was a field trip.
We did. That was not the. It was a. It wasn't the one from
I
Miami.
know the
There was
Three
a-
Little Piggies. The kids love
That's
the Three Little
Children's
Piggies.
Theater of Charlotte. We
yeah.
bring in touring companies that have youth theater companies with specifically. Lots of times it's related to a book or something they already know, and they can see it come to life on the stage.
Right.
So those are
Was
exciting.
it Dimensions dance, maybe?
We did have Dimensions.
Yeah. And the field trip, was it when they brought them on stage? They brought the kids
Some
on
of the
stage?
kids came on stage. Yeah.
It was the sweetest thing because the dancers had gone through and said, and they were all people of color, and they had gone through how their lives had not necessarily predicted that they would be doing this, but they told of their personal circumstances and how they made it to be a professional dancer. And then they got these kids, but they were riveted. They were literally leaning in their chair. It's so fun to watch them because you see their transformation.
Yeah.
And then they all wanted to get up there. There were like half the
And the
audience.
boys just seeing boys on stage.
Yes.
Men on stage dancing.
Yes.
In their mind ballerinas were supposed to be girls in tutus.
Right.
And now they're seeing some men who are
Powerful.
strong,
Yes.
powerful men
Yes,
making
yes.
this happen. Yeah. And it
Very
opens
cool.
up that opportunity for them. It's a
I
sport.
hate to sound hyperbolic, but it is life-changing.
Yes.
No,
really is.
I feel it. Like, just talking, like, I'm so thankful that you came on the show because, like, for me, it's like I in my head I'm exploding in things like, oh my God, like I want to be more involved in this world because it's like how this is missing from my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just it inspires me. And also I want to say something as you're bringing it. Listen, if you're a local, if you're a low country, if you call this home, if you're coming here and you want to embed, they just said something that you have to pay attention to. You've got access, you got resources. Help this group, help these kids get there. This is subsidized. Pitch in, do your part, be a part of the community. You want to be embedded in low country? Be embedded here because you're going to change lives. So.
Even if it's not financial, it's volunteer work. There's plenty of positions that they need. Ushers, greeters, concessions.
But money helps. Send the checks. You have it.
We also need audience patrons.
Is it deductible?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's deductible. Yeah. Come on. What are you waiting for?
But
Sorry,
what
anyway.
I love so much is we've covered so much, and it just shows you the multi-generational aspect that you guys are. There's theater down to the little kids that are learning what theater is about. You know, and you have shows that are for the adults, and there's shows for the kids, and there's the education. It's everything. It spans all generations.
It really does. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah.
No, it is.
I mean, it is for everyone.
It's so funny. We have a list of questions, and we've only gone through 5.
Yeah, I'm like, where am I going?
How many?
50.
10 minutes per question. So we only have 30 more, folks.
Bathroom real quick.
Huh?
Can I go to the bathroom real quick?
Yeah,
I'll
that's
just
fine.
I'll just leave it on this camera.
Yeah, just leave it. That's fine.
fine.
We'll talk. I
Let's have a little.
So I do want to ask you about. So we've covered some things that you guys do. Obviously, a lot of things that you do. One of the the areas that I think is fascinating is the Walter Greer Gallery. Can we talk to that? Can we talk about who, first of all, Walter Greer is and his legacy and why he's so important to us?
Take it, Alana.
Yeah, because this is fascinating.
At the Art Center, we have the Walter Greer Gallery. So not only are we a theater with 349 seats, but we also have a beautiful art gallery down in our theater lobby. And then we have a 1,700 square foot art making space on the third floor that a lot of people don't know about. So,
is that the Woodland?
That's the Disney Art Studio where we have all these camps and workshops and all the fun things. That's the space that I get to program. So that's my little home away from home. But the gallery, for a long time, was programmed by the Art Center, and now the Art League of Hilton Head actually is in residence there, having only their artists and their programming in there. Except for in February, we still have the Gullah show.
Yeah, I was going to say that's February.
But it's named. Every space in the building has a name. And it was sometimes it was a naming gift. Most of the time it was a naming gift.
Yes.
And the Walter Greer Gallery is paying homage to our first resident artist on Hilton Head, Walter Greer. So Greer was from South Carolina and went to the Citadel and was in World War II. And while he was, enlisted and while he was at war, he spent a lot of times, you're sitting in bunkers, you're sitting in places with playing the waiting game. Yeah. And he did a ton of sketching. And he has beautiful portraits that we actually, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but we have them at the Art Center in our archives now.
Wait a minute, but you have his sketches?
We have his sketches from the military all the way through paintings that he was doing late in his career. We have a whole collection of Walter Greer things. We're fortunate that he moved here in 1960. And at the time, there were no artists, there were no art galleries, there were no art leagues. He had just
probably no roads.
Sea Pines was about all there was on Hilton Head. It was just Sea Pines. So he came and fell in love with Hilton Head and very bravely decided instead of following, his family had a company business. I think it was something in textiles, and everybody just did that, you know, where they were from in South Carolina. And he decided he wanted to be an artist, and he had been studying in Atlanta by this point and in New York, and he came to Hilton Head and was like, I'm going to move there and be an artist, but no one had ever done that before. So he was literally like the first artist to live on Hilton Head. But he came with a vision. He came with, I'm not going to be the only artist on Hilton Head. I'm going to grow and cultivate this. I'm going to find like-minded people. And on in Sea Pines at his house, he made a little studio. And he painted. And he had a friend, Jack Morris, who was his agent. And so Jack was with him throughout his entire career, all the way until he passed away in his 90s, which were also, great. I think it was 95, almost 96.
Right. Wow.
So Walter Greer ended up cultivating the very first art gallery was at the William Hilton Inn. It was the hotel on Hilton Head.
Wow.
And in the lobby, he said, may I put a gallery in here and start hanging some art? You know, they needed something on the wall, so they're like, okay, you can put some art in here, and before you know it, there are big opening receptions. He's recruited other artists, and they're having these art shows at the William Hilton Inn.
Oh, my.
So eventually he finds enough people, he recruits enough people, they've got 3 or 4, and they start this round table, and they're having these weekly, they literally sit in a room, all the artists, and just talk and explore what they're doing, you know, such this magical place, this round table, they called it. And some of the, most famous artists from Hilton Head, all of them were part of this round table that started with our old school original artists. Wow. So the Walter Greer Gallery is named after him and his legacy. He started the Art League. He was a founding member of the Art League of Hilton Head, which is fitting because now the Art League programs the space in the Walter Greer Gallery. Wow. We're fortunate to have so much of his collection at the Art Center. We had some interns a few summers ago come and archive it all because Jack was such a good agent. He kept every correspondence, every letter, every invitation, because Walter went on to exhibit, internationally and like in all kinds of places. And so Jack was his agent, and he kept everything. And we've got files and files and files of these beautiful handwritten letters where he would invite people to his reception or people would send him letters. And it's just amazing all the stuff that we have, thanks to Jack really for holding on to every single piece of paper. So we have archived it and scanned it all and digitized it in case something happens to it. But we've got everything from his charcoal sketches in the bunkers to his, mainly what he did was painting. Once he moved to Hilton Head, he was really in love with sort of the salt marsh. He did a lot of landscape.
That's what I was going to ask you,
the botanicals that were native and then birds that were native and that kind of thing. Very impressionist feeling work.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, made his life as a professional artist. All the way until he passed away and left that legacy on Hilton Head. So we honor it.
Awesome.
Yes,
resident artist.
the very first resident artist. So we kind of can thank him for all of that good stuff.
He was the
Like,
one
we didn't
that
have anything.
started
We had no galleries. We had no art league.
True.
We had nothing.
That's right.
I love you started that off, though. He had a vision.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, the imagination.
Invisible, intangible.
That's right. Yep. Yes.
And it's sitting here today.
That's right.
That's amazing. That almost makes me cry.
So in that gallery, that changes monthly? The exhibition changes every month? Is that
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So the Art League, which is our local artist coalition, where artists can join the Art League and have a group to be with and exhibit with and participate in programs with. And so they program it, and so it's local art in there. So when people come to Hilton Head and they're like, I want to go buy something the local artist made.
Yeah.
Best spot to go.
Okay.
Right, hands down. I mean, in my opinion, is the Art League in Hilton Head, and we see so many patrons coming through there, and it's also a great fit because as people are coming to our theater,
Just going to say that. Yes.
to get their tickets,
Exactly. It's
or
off of our box office.
off the box office.
Got it.
So we
you
share
go
audiences.
Before either you're going to Will Call to get your tickets before the show, and you get there a little early because you wanted a good parking place. So go in the Art League and see what's up,
Look
and
around.
Okay.
and they're
So if somebody's visiting and they want a piece of Hilton Head and they want a piece of art, that's the place to go.
Go to the
It
Art
really
Center's
is.
gallery, to the Walter Greer Gallery.
I love
great
it.
stuff.
Absolutely.
They have jewelry. They have more than just art too. They have jewelry. I mean, which is art as well.
Right.
But
Yes.
they have everything. It's
More
great.
than just paintings.
Beautifully run too.
Wow,
Yeah, they do a
that's
great job.
fascinating. Who would think that a little island like this would have the culture that it
yeah.
does? You know, and the history of art.
That's right.
Like it does.
It does.
I mean, that goes all the way back to, that was the the founding of Hilton Head, really. Sea pines the whole time, and here it is.
Yes.
And so, that's what we love, is people are looking. You want to know where to live, where do I go, where do I finish? Finish here, because this is here.
Exactly.
And just think of how proud. I mean, he passed away right along the Hurricane Matthew time. I mean, just
That's
a few
right.
years ago. Think of how proud he must have felt
yeah.
to know how many art galleries,
Right. Yes.
how many arts organizations
That he really birthed.
that he birthed.
Uh-huh. True.
Single-handedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A man with a
Yeah.
vision came to Hilton Head with barely a bridge. He probably came up a toe back then. There probably wouldn't be a bridge.
I think you're right. You're right.
Sounds like we need a play. You heard it here first.
If we need an original piece.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, because that's a story worth following.
Yeah, that
you
is
know?
a great
Yes,
story.
his
I love
wife
that-
Margaret was just so supportive and such a big part of it. I
That's
mean,
right.
really,
Yeah.
like he was the staple and still is.
It's
for
funny.
what we have here now.
Because as you were talking about the table, I was trying to picture the table. Like, what did the table look
There are
like?
photos of it. I'll have
Is
to
there?
find some for you.
I would love to
because
see it.
We have slides like from the carousel
Yeah, yeah,
projector.
yeah.
We've got slides from his
it'd be fun to
exhibits and
insert
things.
those. Yes.
And we actually do
We'll
have
get you some.
We'll have to find
That'd
some of
be
the
great.
archives. But
I'd
we've
love,
got
even
one
for
or
the
two
show to do
photos
another
of
way,
the round
I'd
table.
love to see the table.
We're all
Because-
sitting around- a couple women, and it was kind of forward thinking to let women be a part of this thing too back
Especially
then.
back then.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was open to whoever had the same vision he had,
great.
and he curated who could be in the little party.
Sit at the table.
Who could sit at the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's very
a great
cool.
legacy.
Wow. All right.
It's really neat to learn about the history. And
Oh.
when I read that, I'm like, what? Yet another thing that you guys bring to the island.
Well, it's funny because
You know,
as we sit
just,
here,
it's just.
I remember when we first moved here. Like I don't know what it was, because we met at the coast, right? And I didn't go to the beach until I was like
He's an Ohio boy.
Yeah.
So he was landlocked.
I never knew how much I needed water. That's really what it is. But as we sit and talk, it's like I thought I was in love with this place already. You know what I mean? But all it does is it kind of deepens and widens. Like, oh my gosh, like there's something about the ground. There's something about the vibration. There's something about everything in this area that
Agree.
do you guys feel the
Totally
same way?
feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels when you come back from a trip and you
Yes.
come over that bridge and it's like, I love going. That was great. But look where we live.
Do you know how many times we've had that expressed on the podcast and previous things? We do it ourselves, and we expressed that in our first episode, just what it's like to come home to Hilton Head, and you've just said exactly.
In the bridge.
That's what I mean.
I say to the boys, I'm like, boys, soak it in. Look at it. It's glorious.
And actually, the last time we left on a longer trip, the boys were like, we're home.
I know.
They felt it.
It's a great feeling.
It's like there's a feeling of being at the edge of the continent, and there's nothing between you and Africa. It's like a big expanse of ocean.
It's
Africa
right there. It's like right there.
That's just like, looking out and seeing nothing. Yep.
That's true. I love that.
Yeah,
I would love to know more about your journeys here. Like, I mean, and what was it? Like, how did you know?
What drew you
here?
I can tell mine really quickly.
Okay.
I hope.
It's okay, but nothing but time and some wine.
If not, we got digital space.
But we used to come with, as so many do, with my family. We'd come for summers or for vacations. And I remember when I was getting ready for finals at Emory Business School, I said to my mom, you know what? I just want to go to Hilton Head with you, and let's just chill, and I can study a little, but we can get a little sun, and we can have, and we did. She goes, sure, let's do it. So we met down here, and I went, I had been doing all these Atlanta interviews, and I was like, maybe just the summer. Maybe I'll just stay the summer.
Yeah.
Famous last words. I had a gig at a tennis center. Okay. And literally was the day before starting, which I guess don't do this, kids. Don't do this to your future employers.
Not recommended.
I also found a real job at Sea Pines. It was Sea Pines Real Estate and Resort were kind of two different things at the time. But the director of marketing was about to go on maternity leave, and they said, they need someone to fill her shoes temporarily. Yeah. And I said, oh my gosh, so a real job. Okay, but on Hilton Head, this is kind of cool. And somebody helped me find a place. And that weekend that I was supposed to be studying and doing, I realized I'm moving here.
Wow.
And then because it became a real job, I stayed longer and was with Sea Pines and then Marriott and had a family.
You've never left? Like you came?
Left.
Oh my gosh.
But that's okay.
It's good. No, I had chances to.
And you raised your children here.
I raised my two children here. One who is now a director at the Arts Center and other places as well. So the theater and the island just kind of took over and said, no, we have a bigger idea for you.
So, that's so cool.
Good. But anyway, that's my little quick story. How about you? How'd you get here?
Yeah, well, ours was just like, let's move to the beach.
You're a Georgia girl.
But went to Tybee first.
You're a
I'm a Georgia girl.
Yeah.
And Tybee was fun.
Right.
Tybee was cute.
Yeah.
Tybee was colorful. I love Tybee, but Tybee was
an artist area.
It's not
small,
a place for careers. It's small. The opportunities and the resources are limited unless you just
move from Savannah.
Unless you are a fisherman.
Yeah.
Freaks a lot. Yeah. So, in order, to find other opportunities that I was actually working at the Islands YMCA and the Marine Science Center. And that's sort of where my hook was because I didn't find an art teaching job right away.
Yep.
So I went to work with kids at the YMCA because there wasn't even a school, and there's still not on Tybee. There's just only one little Catholic school. There's no public school in Tybee. Yeah. And so I went to work at the Marine Science Center and learned so much about the ecology and the watershed and the ecosystem. And I'm just like a lifelong learner. Like it doesn't have to be art. Like whatever it is, I love to learn new things. Yeah. And I loved learning about that and really got attached to the coastal ecosystem. And then moving to Hilton Head was sort of just literally for careers, but sounded disappointing to me because in my mind I lived in my little coastal village with my turquoise and pink and peach houses and had that. But after moving to Hilton Head, soon thereafter, I moved here. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I had the stigma in my mind. They're all taupe beige and tan houses. And everybody's got taupe, tan, or beige hair. And gray. And I was like, this is just going to be bad. Honestly, that was the stigma that, and this was almost 20 years ago, but that was the stigma that I had about the place. And I thought that does not sound exciting at all. Yeah. So, but after moving here, I did my little research. Where are the arts? Where are my people? Where are my tribes? Found the art center. My first job, I mean, I landed that job like maybe a month after moving here, and I've never left. I've been there ever since.
That's amazing.
That was my place. It was my place.
great.
I got lucky that I walked into the art center
Yeah.
with my resume. There was not a listing for a job opportunity or anything. I just walked in.
Oh, really?
And said,
I
I'm
love
new to
that.
the community.
Oh, fun.
And I have a degree in art education and a background in that, and I've run a studio and I've taught, and you know, if there's any way I
Cool.
can
Good for
volunteer
you.
even while I get settled into the community, let me know. And Gail greeted me, and she said, you know, as a matter of fact, that office right there is empty because our former director of education has just recently retired and left, and gives Kim Keats. And
That's divine.
Wow,
and she
that
was
is divine.
and there was no listing, no anything.
Wow.
It literally was. It
That's
literally
divine.
was.
You're meant to be here.
And then within 2 weeks, I got hired for the job.
I love that.
And you can't imagine what else I would do. You know,
can't imagine
it's such
you
a
not
good
being-
fit because I get to do the arts administration stuff. And I still get to teach art, and I really think that's what's kept me there so long. You know, in the 18
You
years,
got hands-on.
is I get to do left brain and right brain.
Yes.
Yep.
Because I need them both. I thrive. You know, I'm happy to do my budgets and have planning meetings and to plan artist residencies and scheduling and contracts and all those things I need to do for my admin job. But I love that I also have the opportunity to go out and teach and to work with the kids in the community and to go to the Boys and Girls Club and to go to the schools and really, you know, touch all those lives as well. Not only from planning it, but I get to teach too sometimes.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
Getting to do that really.
You just said something
is
interesting
perfect.
I wanted to drill down on if we could. So the left-right brain thing for you, do you think that like that would apply to everybody? Like we all need a little more of that, the left and right brain? Like,
I do, and I feel like sometimes, you know, and that's always one of the things that when you're looking at jobs in the arts, and we tend to be creative people, you know, finding people that are organized and good with things like that, because a lot of creatives aren't organized. Yeah. I don't know that some people are definitely stronger or one or the other.
Right.
But in our life, we just need
You need
both.
both.
You know, you have to find that balance.
A lot of our people really have both.
I really feel like that. We will sit in planning meetings, and then people are talking, like while we're waiting on that last person, like what shows are we watching, or what good movies have we seen, or what good plays have we seen?
Yeah.
Like, you know, or you know, did you see
Definitely.
that new Banksy stunt he pulled? You know? Like we're all creative people in that way. You know, our whole management team is that way at the Art Center. That we all bring a different set of visual or performing arts. You know,
But we're so
passions.
detailed too.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
everyone
also,
on our management staff.
and it's like a little puzzle, and it all
It
just works.
is.
Everybody
It is.
brings
They're
their
so
strengths.
detailed.
But
So
for sure.
which side of the brain is organized?
So
Or brings them administrative side?
Isn't that the left side?
So
and the right side is the creative.
Crew,
Is that what
right?
you
I
mean?
thought right
that
was
what-
creative.
there's a
Right.
great
Right, creative, left,
Okay.
right.
well, there's a great book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and it goes over this whole thing, because the thing is, for drawing, you don't need to be creative. You want to suppress your creativity, because when you're drawing, you want to draw what you're seeing to make it look realistic. There's no room for creativity there.
It's true, because
right?
there's something
So you
there
wanna
you need to
interpret.
that
So
makes
you
sense.
want to draw
Like-
on the right side of your brain, but you want to be creative with the left side when you're painting, I guess, or whatever.
Oh, wow.
But it's literally, it is because you want
heard
to
of that.
suppress your creativity. Like literally, and it's a fascinating book, because it's like if you want to draw something, draw it upside down, because your creative, you know, side's going to be like, oh, I want to do this. Or I think that we have 5 fingers. Well, maybe you can't see 3 fingers, and from that position or whatever.
Okay.
You know, we always, you know, you see children's drawings; they'll have 10 fingers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
5 over here and 5 over here.
Yeah.
But in most life drawings, we're sitting or doing things, and you can't see
Can't
10
see 'em.
fingers.
Yeah.
But you know, your imagination wants to imagine they're there.
Wow.
So really, artists have to, you know, to be a crafted artist,
Yeah.
you have to
Have
work
both.
on that. As you said, you really need the both. You know.
Well,
So I'm trying to figure out which side of the brain I am, because I'm the organized one, he's the creative one.
Yeah.
So
But
am I
could
the
be,
left
I
side
can
or
be
right?
organized though. My
Ken,
own right.
we've trained
Yeah.
your brain to be organized,
Well,
but he's training my other side
well,
too to be
I say
creative.
this because-
I get very uncomfortable with the creative side, and I'm having to force myself to do it. And in the last couple years, and he's learned to be
Well, you're
more
kind of the
organized.
perfect pair then.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm
You're the
sitting here
mathematical
laughing.
logical. You know,
Yeah.
there's 7 intelligences. This brilliant guy Gardner came up with all these 7 intelligences, and we all have at least one of them and multiples of them. And we learn
Oh,
this
I
in
got one.
education.
Yay.
Yeah.
Excited.
Mathematical logical.
Yes,
because there's a right and a wrong.
Yes.
Right. And,
Oh, totally.
And there's a
Oh,
right and
that's
wrong.
silly now.
And then when we get creative, there's a big gray space, and it's uncomfortable for a lot of people to be in that gray space.
There is.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Totally.
Well,
I'm
it's
like,
funny
it's
you
right or
say
wrong.
that, because like we talked about, you know, like our whole thing is keep growing and growing and growing all the way to the end. That's all I want to do is grow to the end. But I've come to this like point in my life where I feel like it's about harmony. And harmony means it's like it's all of it, right? Like harmony is learning to live within all the extremes, all the polarities, and finding a place where you're not judging it, you're not doing any of that, but it's just this harmony point where you can accept it and kind of embrace it, and then be at peace and at rest within it, because you're not trying to control it. And so when you say the left right, I feel like for a lot of people, especially in real estate, you meet a lot of interesting people, right? They're all different. You got your CEOs, you got your, we know a lot of very successful multimillionaire business people who are, right there. But I feel like they could use this, right? Because it's viewing it as a way of like growth. Making you whole, making you grow, and bringing wholeness. Yeah. So for all those people out there, like, oh, arts, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, like if you're at this place where, you're on the wrong side of the clock, right? And you're on the clock. On the downside, yeah. So if you're going to retire somewhere, you're going to come, then why not look at something like this and embrace it and say, hey,
if you've never done it, right?
Maybe I want to go in here and see what it does. Maybe I want to see if it brings something to my life that makes it more balanced, makes it more harmony.
Those are personal skills.
Right. And it makes my brain work different, And that's what I love about this. It's like hitting somebody. If you're watching, you're thinking you're looking for a house or where am I going to retire? I'm saying, like, maybe you got a deeper life yet to explore.
That's right.
Well, and that's what this place does, though. The very thing that we love about Hilton Head.
Don't you feel like it's a mystical place?
It's a mystical place, makes you grow.
Absolutely.
It's like a portal. It's like it opens you up. Like, welcome.
Yes, it has something for everyone versus just the beach, just golf.
Like Tybee. That's when you were talking about Tybee. I felt like that's the limitations in a way.
Right, it really is.
It's just a beach town.
And other coastal communities suffer from the same thing, and we have the draw of like a big city with our culture.
Yes.
There's other theaters besides the Art Center. There's
the festivals.
The festivals.
We
my
do
God.
So let's talk about those, because especially the one I know you're going to talk about.
Well, we have 2 festivals each year. One of them is our holiday festival to kick off the holiday season. It's the Town of Hilton Head official kind of tree lighting festival, our kickoff. And so we do that, around Thanksgiving when the holidays are starting for everyone. Yeah. And that's, as we talked about, bridging that age gap and having something for everyone. Our festivals are the place where all the kids, all the adults, all the grandparents, everyone can find something to do.
Yeah, in fact, tons of kids perform at that. Okay. And then we have whatever our holiday show is, we'll have cast members come and perform as well, but we have a stage and
we have art activities and Santa comes and all
food trucks,
beer,
wine, all the fun things.
And then in February we have our Voices of Gullah Festival, which totally the whole thing is to celebrate our native Gullah culture. And so I know that people moving here might not know anything about the Gullah culture.
It's the number one question.
Yes.
Especially when you're driving around certain areas.
What is that? Or is it Gullah or is it Gullah?
Yeah, exactly. What is that?
People? Is it a language? We're not really sure. A lot of what we do in the education department is really helping to preserve and share the history and how it has shaped the island, how it has shaped their culture. But they are descendants of enslaved Africans who were brought here from Sierra Leone and places in West Africa for very specific reasons, because they knew how to cultivate rice. And that's the region that they were from in Africa. And, the white landowners here knew that this was kind of a marshy, kind of might be good, but they had no idea how to grow rice. And so that was the main reason why they, were brought here in the first place. But then, as the slaves were freed and stayed, Mitchellville is like the first freedman's village, right?
Right. It was actually called unowned, wasn't it? That's the term they used. It wasn't even they were free. They were unowned. So it was like that's like what a time period that was, right? They were unowned and they were in the middle of this whole war.
And they were given land, but then weren't deeded land. And so we deal with heirs' rights and things now.
To this day.
Because people ask that question all the time.
It was my great-grandfather's land, but I don't have a deed because it was just given to them.
And they can't sell it. They can't
prove it and all these things. And so, but one of the things that I love to share and have our Gullah elders share with the children is about the arts and culture, the foodways, the sweetgrass baskets, and why that's part of the culture and how it binds into our culture now in our coastal community in the Lowcountry and all up and down this Lowcountry area.
And their storytelling and their music.
The storytelling, the music, the storytelling, their language is a dialect that's sort of a combination of the African and the English, sort of like a Creole,
like
kind of a language. But to this day, so many of the children in our schools are Gullah descendants. They're Gullah. And they don't even know or realize.
You've got friends that are Gullah,
Ashley
right?
has friends that are Gullah.
It's so fun to bring Gullah artists, Gullah storytellers into the schools because kids are like, my grandma talks like that.
Because they have a specific accent, right?
Because it was for a long time something that you hid, something that was shunned, something that had a negative aura about it to be Gullah, you know, and now we really people wear like a badge.
It's
like
embraced.
it is.
Yeah.
That's what I appreciate about
We help
Hilton Head.
the rest of the community who aren't Gullah to help them embrace that and to make that fit and not to hide it away but to celebrate it because it's a beautiful culture. So many of the things that they brought, the symbols and things on the textiles and the baskets and jewelry and I mean so many things that are just beautiful, and we're helping to preserve that at the Art Center. So every year we hire Gullah elders to go into the schools to teach sweetgrass basket weaving, to expose the kids to that because the thing is we're running out of people who want to do it. The kids are on video games. The kids are on Snapchat. The kids don't want to sit around and spend 3 weeks making a basket. It takes a long time to make a sweetgrass basket. It's a very intricate craft. So what we want to do is just expose the kids to it. And the great thing about it is we work closely with Michael Smalls and Dino Badger, who we love, and go into these schools and work with the kids year after year. But they're like, we don't, you deal with this in a lot of Native American cultures where they don't want to teach their art to outsiders, to our Catawba, our Native Americans that have reservations up near Rock Hill.
We live right by
very particular about sharing what they do with their clay, where they get the clay from, how they make their pots. They don't want to share it with outsiders. And we've had a hard time finding teaching artists to come teach the children about it because they have so many kind of bylaws in their own culture that you don't share that with outsiders. You only pass it to your own. And so lots of indigenous cultures kind of feel that way. But Michael and Dino are like, we don't care who. Someone needs the legacy. Someone needs to keep this craft going. And I don't care if they're Gullah or not, which is beautiful about it, so that we don't have that barrier of this has to only be for Gullah people, It's learning about it and learning the craft of it like any other art form, So we're lucky to have that in storytellers and gospel choirs and all kinds of people.
We want to do a show on the Gullah.
We definitely we're going to do the Gullah history and a show.
Well, because to your point, what I love about it is Hilton Head embraces it and shines light on it. It's
our history.
It is.
It's our history.
And they won't let it be erased.
No.
Right? Like you can imagine developers going, how do we get our hands on this, right? And they would bless you. No worries, you're good.
No worries.
Edit. Cut. But no, I love that because and for people who are looking in the area, because that's the one thing that they'll ask all the time. Why is this here? What is that all about? And then you start telling them, and unlike other areas who'd be focused on the development, focused on the economics. We're focused on the heritage.
That's right.
And our town has this Office of Cultural Affairs that wasn't always there.
Okay.
And so that has sort of had made such a big difference on Hilton Head in our community. Them saying we're going to mark this off, we're going to preserve this, we're going to make signage about it. We're going to make sure that this voice is heard and that this legacy is heard and kept and not hidden away, under a development somewhere.
Sculpture, bike tours, walking trails.
Oh my gosh, the Lantern Parade.
Yes.
This Office of Cultural Affairs does so much. Oh, we can't wait.
And
I just got an email yesterday. What kind of lanterns do I need to order? We're already working on it.
We were part of the first one.
So let's talk about the Lantern Parade because it's obviously art related.
Yes.
You guys didn't create it, correct?
No.
That's the town?
The town created it. So Natalie Harvey and Robin Swift are the two that run the Office of Cultural Affairs with others also. But they
Jim McEwen started it, right? She was from Atlanta, and they had the Beltway Lantern Parade, remember? Yes. She was like, we need this on the beach on Hilton Head.
Come on.
They
we're going to one up
the
them.
whole thing off that's like Spoleto on Hilton Head called Crescendo. And the finale, the crescendo of crescendo, is the Lantern Parade.
So what is that to the audience
that
doesn't know?
It starts in October, and it really encompasses, it's a calendar like Spoleto is in Charleston. And it includes our fall show. It includes Alana's workshops to create a lantern.
Yeah, because you have to create them.
I love doing that, by the way.
And she's got adult and then also children. So yes, do it. You've got to do it. And they're beautiful. But it really encompasses that whole month of different events that can be anything from visual arts to performing arts to everything, music.
Right.
The kickoff festival happens in Shelter Cove Park.
Yeah.
And it always culminates with the Lantern. The Lantern Parade is always in November, early November. It's for the finale, but everyone, it's free. Everyone in the public is invited to come, bring an illuminated sculpture of your choice, and parade down the beach with thousands of other people doing the same thing. Or sit and be, we also need, we need the aisles.
A video from last year, because I have a video where we ended in Celebration Park.
Yeah, where everyone was coming on
just
in.
Watching them all. And
it's mesmerizing.
It is. And how big
and the
it's got.
marching bands. And, it is just like my favorite event of the whole year. Every single year.
Yeah.
I agree.
And how big? Because the first one we did, you ended right at the Caligny Beach. We didn't even come off.
Yeah.
Right?
Where
it was
the
just
Tiki
like,
Hut is. It
it
just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
This year, it was like, it went all the way down Pope and came up to Celebration, and the whole Celebration Park was
full of lanterns.
Yeah. It gets bigger every year. It
does.
really does.
This is so...
It is an event on Hilton Head.
Well, I have the pleasure of working with the town to coordinate the school programs for that.
Yeah.
So since I was kind of, I think when Jim McEwen first started it, she's like, okay, we've got a whole bunch of people to reach. Who are my task force?
Yeah. Yes.
So she kind of put me in charge of the education of the kids. You're in charge of getting the kids involved, Alana.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been, I was sort of the spearhead of let's get the kids involved.
Great.
Yeah.
And so I work with the town on, just logistics, organizing the schools and what kind of lanterns do they want to make, what supplies do they need. A lot of it's underwritten by the town. And then, how can we organize getting these kids to the beach, and getting them in the groups and getting their programs. And so I go in and I teach lantern workshops in the schools and the Boys and Girls Club, at the Art Center for children and adults. We want everybody to have an opportunity somewhere to make a lantern for this parade.
Yes.
It's really accessible.
And when you say lantern, I just
these
gotta
aren't
tell
just
you,
little small
we're gonna try to
lanterns.
do as many overlays, but like some of them, you talk about artistic.
Illuminated sculptures, I call them.
That's what they are. And then when you need
Right.
3 or 4 people to carry them and work them, and like a
Puppeteer
bird
them.
flying,
Really?
puppeteer
Honestly.
them. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you're like, this is fascinating. Like, who thinks of this?
Right.
Like, thank
The
God.
creative, artistic people do.
If you haven't done it, you haven't seen it, you got to do it.
Yeah,
Like,
and I tell everybody when they come to the workshop, I will give you a round globe lantern and a little light to put in the middle, and you can walk out right now and you have a lantern. So don't fret. You're going to have something to carry.
That's what we had.
That's all right.
Then I show up, I'm like,
Polka dots on it, and you're good.
I'm wholly inadequate right now. Like, these people are.
They worked all year. These other people worked all year on it.
Who are these people?
Incredible.
Yeah, so
They're
that's
professional.
funny. They are professional.
They
go
definitely.
around town to town.
They do.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the future of art in the Lowcountry.
Yeah.
So, what do you hope people will say about the impact of this place years from now?
Well, one thing to talk about the town a little bit more that they're really working on is creating a cultural arts district.
Okay.
And
share that with us.
So
Breaking news! Breaking news!
But this is the thing. They're going to, right now, it's projected to be from Shelter Cove, kind of where we are, all the way down to Arrow Road and 278.
Wow.
Okay. And it encompasses, of course, the Arts Center. It's going to be called the Parkway Arts Cultural District.
Okay.
And it will have, there's so many studios, there's so many open parks, there's different things that you have to have, ingredients basically, to have a district.
Okay.
And that area that they have chosen checks all the boxes. But it's going to be amazing because that will bring people to our island because we have that.
So it'll be developing the parks, or these parks already in place?
What does it entail?
What is that?
Well, the parks are there. So you have the Shelter Cove Community Park.
Right.
I don't know how much additional development there would need to be. It's more just a designation of a district that then puts us literally on the map as having that. And it sort of spotlights what we have as a cultural hub on Hilton Head. That for those who just think Hilton Head is golf, tennis, beach, etc., it lets them know, they have this. This is
and future artists and other artists who say, hey, I want to come and set my
It encourages other people to come
plant my
to help
flag
it grow.
right here.
You got to have the pioneer. You got to have Walter Greer. Someone to say, let's designate it.
It's funny because we lived in Columbus, and Short North was that for us, and we used to love to go there. It was the coolest place. It was hip. It was fun. It was trendy, energetic. It just felt alive.
And I'm sure it will grow from the once you get that designation, the imagination, as we've talked about.
Build it and they will come.
Exactly.
Yes, other artists will want to come to be in that area. And there, of course, there's plenty of other theaters, art, etc., around that are not part of that district. But that will help Hilton Head, I believe, become known for the art it already has and can become.
That's great. Wow. That's great. So all those people out there, too, who are moving to Bluffton, moving to Hardyville, moving to Ridgeland, I tell everybody, because getting on the island is getting cost prohibitive for a lot of people.
Right.
But I say, don't worry about it, because this is your number one amenity.
Yeah.
Just view this as, I can live out there, but you're just
still enjoy it.
That's right.
Yeah.
We want our Bluffton, Hardyville neighbors to come on over.
Yeah. Do you collaborate with Bluffton at all? Do they have?
So we work with and Alana collaborates with 5 different counties, not just Beaufort County.
Wow.
But so yes, we reach far and wide. We're a regional theater, so that we're an amenity for more than Hilton Head. We want to be a Lowcountry and regional beyond. Like I said, we're number 1 producing professional theater in South Carolina. So.
And these shows, I want to reiterate, they don't go on tour.
They do not go on tour.
You see them once?
That's right.
You have to come to the Art Center of Coastal Carolina to see it.
That's right.
And leave it.
When it is closing day, and we have someone go, where's it going next? No, these actors go home. Yep. We have what's called strike, which is you break down the set. And we've already started, when we're striking that set, we've already started on the show that follows it.
And to specify, everything is built from scratch. Just to make sure that
unless we rent, there are occasions that we will rent different things. If it's a puppet, for example, which might come into play next season. But anyway, I can't tell you that yet. But different things we might have to rent. But no, we build the costumes. We have a costume shop. We build. It is literally building a house.
Wow.
They've got. You should see our backstage right now.
Please do.
It's amazing.
There are giant doors on the back of the stage because they have to roll. Once they build the scenery, they have to get it onto the stage. Right? They have these giant doors. They roll it in.
Exactly.
Fascinating.
Back there. It's wild. It's wild.
All right. So, because I feel like we can do this. You guys are going to have to probably come back once a quarter. So we can.
We've always got something to talk about.
Let's talk about real quick. We're in June here, and I think we moved this up. We normally release these a couple weeks. I think we're going to have to move yours up for the sake of time.
Yeah.
Let's break down here through the end of the year. What do you have going on? What do people want to know about?
Okay. Well, on stage will be the Donna Summer musical, Summer. And that will run July through August.
Okay.
And then we have, in that July period, we have Paul Reiser. Do you know the comedian who is in Mad About You?
Yes, I know. Yep.
Author,
I love
comedian,
him.
amazing.
He's so funny.
He's going to do stand-up for us for 2 shows.
When is that?
That is July 18th.
I need a ticket. We're going to.
Yes, you got it. Hurry.
I'm serious. I got to go.
Okay. Really,
so
we've
funny.
Got we've got a 4 o'clock and a 7:30 show, and the 7:30 is getting really close to being sold out. But come on. So he'll be there summer. Her camps all summer long from June until the end of July, and then you have a professional development after that, right?
For teachers.
And then we have Earth, Wind, and Fire #1 tribute band for them Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
Wow, there's a lot
that
going
reminds me of my dad right there.
That's a lot.
I just went way back in time.
Yeah. We have stuff going on 360 days in that building a year.
360 days a year.
Wow.
Wow.
5 days off. That's it.
5 days off, that's it.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Literally, there's something all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay.
If you had a magic brush, and this is for either one of you, what's one idea you'd bring to life at the Arts Center? If you had a magic brush and could do anything.
I don't know. I sort of think about like our acting intensives. Like this has been an idea that we've had pre-COVID. You know, having some more theater classes for children who are really interested in honing in on their craft. You know, where it's a duration. It's 6 weeks. It's 8 weeks. It's a quarter.
That's right.
You know, something that's ongoing rather than a workship or a week-long summer camp.
It's almost like we have the tennis camps and the golf camps. You do it for theater.
Right.
Okay.
And that's something that we've planned, and then COVID, and then we couldn't. But we always keep coming back to. Talking a little bit with Laura Bell Bundy about maybe helping us do that.
That's right.
So, you know, we're trying to look for those opportunities to come back.
Absolutely.
I think that's the one thing that, like, from my education world, that we've not yet come to realize that's kind of been out there, that's sort of a passion and something that we want to see happen. So I think for me it would probably be that, you know, just to get more of that, you know, intensive studies where people can really train in theater at the theater.
Wow.
That's and adults too. With acting.
I was going to say, because do you find, are there adults who come in later and say, man, I wish I missed the boat when I was younger?
We've had master classes that'll be a dance class, for example, taught by the director of a show who's in town or whatnot, and acting and different things that we've done. But we like you said, COVID sort of interrupted us a little bit, and we need to get back to some of our ideas. And also, because we're a nonprofit and the economy is such that it is, all of our materials have gone up exponentially.
Exactly.
Lumber, everything we do has gone up. Housing for our actors. So when our actors come in from out of town, we house them for those 6-8 weeks.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So
that's another way people can contribute. Maybe some of your viewers have a home that they're not using all year.
Or a second
donate.
Exactly.
Donate time or space for our actors to come and enjoy
So actually, let's
their
talk
space.
about that. If somebody wants to get involved anyway, financially, volunteering, offering up real estate, things like that, who would they contact? How would they do that?
We have a development officer. Her name's Jan Smith. She's our senior director of development.
Okay.
And I would say contact her.
Okay.
jsmith@artshhi.com. And
doesn't our website even have an
our
inquiry
website has it on there?
We'll put an overlay on the video.
Okay.
So if you're listening to this on any of the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anything, go to watch it on YouTube. We'll put an overlay, and we'll also put it in the description.
Thank you. Yeah. Even an old car that they want to sell, and they know they're only going to get $1,000 or $2,000 for it. We will take it because our actors have to have something to drive when they're here.
Yeah.
So we constantly have a little fleet of cars that we're repairing and
tax deductible
tax deductible and
so good.
Yep.
Okay.
If you need volunteer service to work on those cars, if necessary, could you take that?
Sure.
Yeah.
What
Car
about people
cleaning.
that
If someone wants to
build?
sponsor, we have to
That's
clean them out before we give them to the
That's
next day.
exactly
We gotta
right.
do car wash.
That's right.
So, because
everything.
it's funny, because so many of our clients are retired.
Yeah.
And they get here and they do it. They get there's only so many, Margaritaville things you can do, right?
It's true.
And at some point you feel like I got to do something, and they have all these
people want to
skills.
contribute.
So it's like, if that's you, just come and give time, get embedded. You know,
So many ways to give back.
So many ways.
And our community in general has more nonprofits per square mileage than like
Hilton
anywhere in
Head.
America.
Yeah.
We're not
Really?
exaggerating.
Wow.
We are such a giving community,
yes.
and I think that's sort of what sets us apart too. You know,
Exactly.
just that whole
that
feeling
mindset.
of community and that mindset of giving back and creating something that we want to participate in means we're all going to have to chip in. It takes a village to do it.
It does.
That's because one of the questions we never got to was how does art and culture enrich life and fit into the beach vibe, vacation vibe? And I think that's what you just said is it. Like everybody else who's looking, they're wanting to be near the coast, the beach, right? But we're going to give you that. But that's going to get old. Yeah, if you go to the Outer Banks, if you just want that.
That's right.
And then you're going to sit there 8 months later going, man, I need to go somewhere
bored.
where there's life.
Yes.
That's what separates us. That's the difference right there is what you just said, the culture. It's
Very
depth.
true.
Yeah. So I get a rapid fire question now.
Sure,
Ready?
go for it. You ready?
What's the one tool or supply you always have on hand, whether in the classroom, the studio, or backstage, as it relates to
Oh, a Sharpie. I've got Sharpies.
You're a Sharpie.
I've got Sharpies in my glove box, in my purse. I swear there's one in my purse, I'm sure. Yeah, Sharpies everywhere. That's mine. And a fresh new Sharpie. You know where the tips still
yes.
You
really
love those.
black. It's nice and black. First time you pop that cap. It's like a new box of crayons where they're all perfect.
We know where to get it now for your birthday.
There's colored Sharpies. They're metallic Sharpies. There's fine. There's broad. I love me a good Sharpie.
And I would say for the theater side of things, what immediately comes to mind is tape. So our stage manager has just shelves of every color and every thickness of tape because we have to lay out the floor of our black box, which is our rehearsal space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it, as if it were the stage.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Every color, stairs are marked. Everything.
Different colors of the different scenes.
Colors. It is
even.
beautiful.
The scenery moves.
I have a
Have to
photo for you
imagine
for
it.
that too.
Yeah.
But then they have to know how to translate that rehearsal space to the bigger stage.
Okay. When it's ready, because you're
So a
building
rectangle
it.
might represent a bookcase.
Yes.
But it's just a rectangle
That's
of
right.
red tape.
Yeah, yes.
But for blocking and staging, you've got to imagine that's a bookcase for
Yeah.
a little while, and so
Exactly.
you can get on stage and pretend with
Exactly.
the real.
And real thing for placing not only people but furniture, like you said, so that marks where something goes on the set. So
Yeah.
that would be
Sharpies and tape.
Sharpies and tape.
Look how easy.
I'm impressed.
I'm just kidding.
Two of those you can get at Michael's.
So I have another one. What's your favorite type of creative expression when it's just for you and not work related?
Like that we're doing ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes, something that
that's
we
your-
expresses you.
For me, currently I'm learning to play guitar, and that's kind of what I do in my free time.
Wow.
So that's like getting away from my visual arts, which I have always done my whole life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn to play in high school, and then I quit.
Cool.
And then as I got a little older, I decided I want to learn something
that.
new, and I said Spanish or guitar. Spanish, and I thought about it, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do guitar because I quit, and I'm going to go back and conquer it.
Yep.
So
Good for
I'm
you.
super
Awesome.
rusty, but that's what I'm doing
that's
with my
fun.
creative energy in my free time right
Good
now.
for
Just because
you.
we're always learning and growing.
Yes,
doing it right.
absolutely.
That's
Yep.
the theme.
That's
what I'm doing
Always
now.
learning.
For now.
Yes.
Well, what's
So I
cool
learned
is
something else.
you can
Exactly.
learn Enrique Iglesias songs and just
That's
sing.
right. Guitar.
Hi, Enrique Iglesias.
She can sing in Spanish.
Okay, there
She
you
can-
go. Okay. To put the Spanish and that
Spanish,
together.
right? Hello, come on.
Beautiful sound. Yeah.
I can't choose between these two, but I do acting as well, but for camera stuff, so film or TV. And I love doing that, and I love the set and meeting new people, and the whole experience is just, it lights me up. I have a blast doing that, and have done 2 films this year so far.
Wow.
And then, but the other thing is, my daughter and I get involved in these screenwriting competitions called NYC Midnight, and we have the best time doing these screenwriting competitions where you have such a deadline, a time frame. Sometimes it's only 48 hours, and you have to knock out an entire story. And they give you a genre, a character, and a thing, and you have to. You can't pre-plan it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Wow.
And you have to, it might not be anything you want to talk about, but you have to bring this story together. And the flow of it is so interesting because it's like anytime you're in that creative space and time goes away.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's 11 o'clock in the morning and suddenly it's 8 o'clock at night and you're like, I have literally no idea where the day went.
Wow.
Because you're in that
You
flow
just
state.
lost
Yeah,
that immersion.
that flow state.
So fun.
Flow
so
state.
fun. I love it. I love it. Both
You know,
those
it's so
things.
funny because
That's
you know
great.
what I love
That's-
is this is almost a mystical show because
Yeah.
we keep touching base on this is life.
Yeah.
Art is life.
Yeah.
Because that flow state is you're really connected
It is.
to that
High vibration.
way beyond
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah. Totally.
That's
Totally.
awesome.
It's great.
All right, so I'm going to ask. This is rapid fire personal story stuff.
Uh-oh.
What's a Lowcountry spot, whether it's a beach, a trail, a cafe, a hidden gem, whatever it is, that refuels you and refreshes your soul, that brings you life here?
Anywhere on the beach. I love the walking beach
yeah.
in Hilton Head Plantation. Just how serene it is there and how natural it is there. And it's, you know, we call it the walking beach because it's, you know, the oyster shells and the salt marsh grass and all the different things, you know, the critters. And it's just different than the beach out front.
Yes.
And I really enjoy that space back there.
I love it.
Yeah, mine is nature too, but not necessarily the beach, but getting out in nature and walking and lately I've been seeing a lot of hawks. I mean, this is the spiritual thing. But like, gosh, it's so cool to me to see signs of something, you know, like an owl or a hawk or the gators or the herons. Everything is just so rich here with wildlife, and nature really grounds me and connects me.
Our watershed's amazing here.
That's
why I love to teach about it.
It is. It's
like
incredible.
We have so many due to our salt marsh and the tidal discrepancy. We don't have that anywhere else in America like we have here.
Touch base on it, because I try to tell people it's not like any other beach or area because of
But
that.
we have about a 10-foot swing. I mean, it changes obviously with the moon, you know, high tide to low tide. And even like in Myrtle Beach, it's a 5-foot. You know, they're not that far up the coast. In the Gulf of Mexico, you know, if you go to the panhandle of Florida, you can put your beach towel down and leave it there all day long in the same spot, and you don't even know that there is a tide. You don't even know it exists. It's just like zero, you know.
That's not happening here. You better watch that.
Here we have the highest in and out of the whole, you know, eastern coast of America. And it's because of all of our salt marshes and then the creeks and the streams, and then we get our brackish, you know, now we're up into our rivers. So if you look at it from an aerial view, it's sort of like a tree, you know, with the branches, with the trunk, with the roots. And so the water has places to go. It gushes in and it gushes out. It's also why our water is brown. It's not because it's dirty. It's because there's a lot of plankton in there, because we're the little nursery. The salt marsh is the nursery of the ocean. And there is some pluff mud in there, obviously, but that's just decaying spartina grass. And that feeds the plankton, and that feeds the whole food chain.
Which is why you have so many critters.
And that's why we have more shorebirds and seabirds and land mammals than like anywhere. It's so, you see so many animals
you
here.
have all the dolphins
Even
and
just
sharks
like dolphins
and the manatees.
I mean, I'm like, am I going to get that ball, or is that alligator going to get me? You know, it's like everywhere. There's
the ball,
natural life everywhere, right?
I was sitting out yesterday.
Please do.
Yeah, we're going to pull out a mulligan.
Leave the ball.
Drop it over here.
But I was sitting out yesterday over by the Charles, you know, my little spot I love to sit. And just sitting there, and there was a couple, I don't know what kind of sharks they were, but you saw the dorsals, and they were just sitting there feeding away, and you could see them. And I thought, you know, most people freak out, it's a shark. I'm like, it's so beautiful.
They're beautiful,
I'm like, this guy's he's just sitting here coming in to, you know.
It's incredible.
All right, last question, guys. I know we've asked you a lot. So when you think about your time here in the Lowcountry, what's a moment that made you stop and say, this is why I'm here? I know that's deep.
There's a street in Hilton Head, and I remember having the opportunity to move to Miami briefly, and I was having the grief of thinking about leaving here. And it was Plantation Drive, in the oaks just cover.
Plantation Drive is
Drive, and you have the horse stables there, and it's shaded and so serene and beautiful. And I just cried. Yes, and I cried.
Literally
my same moment.
No way.
Because we moved to Twin Pines. When we first moved to Hilton Head, our first house was on Twin Pines, and I remember coming to see the house and coming from Tybee, which I thought was so precious.
Right.
This other place is going to stink terribly. And I remember going down the same thing, turning by that Lawton stable, and like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous.
I can't leave.
I know.
That was kind of when I was like, that might not be so bad.
Okay.
I can be convinced.
That is so funny.
It is, literally. It must be the prettiest place.
We almost bought a house down there. Remember that one? We missed on that one.
Oh, man.
That's a beautiful street.
Well, thank you, ladies. This has been...
gosh.
I mean, before I end up, did you have anything else?
No, I mean,
we just covered
so
a lot.
if folks, you know, because what we're finding is folks are like watching these and saying, I want to get in touch. So is it okay if they get in touch with you guys if they have questions? So
absolutely.
we'll put an overlay with your contact information, pictures and everything, and they can reach out, you know, for whatever, and you'll point them in the right direction.
Of course.
And everything.
Love that.
We'd love it.
And the other thing I would ask is, would you come back?
Totally.
So I really think we're trying to, we want to add more depth on an ongoing basis on things to do, how to get embedded. And I feel like this is a natural fit for the show, and we're really appreciative because, like, I'm very touched by everything you discussed. It's really inspiring.
Seasons. We have Youth Arts Month. We can do a whole episode on Youth Arts Month.
We can really get granular.
Every season, we've got so much more to talk about.
I feel like
that.
Yeah, and if you're watching and that's something you want to, let us know. Talk about, ask us questions. Tell us what you want to see and hear, because I would love to help connect.
Leave a comment for us, is what David's saying, and make sure you sub so that when you guys come back, you'll get the episodes right away.
Yeah, absolutely. But thank you.
Good.
Because this has been excellent.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
No, our pleasure. We'll talk to you guys soon then. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right.
Hair and makeup for this episode brought to you by Salon Celeste, where style meets sophistication. Let Victoria Gonzalez create a confident, radiant look with an expert cut, stunning color, or the perfect blowout. Book your appointment today.
Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe to Real Talk Hilton Head and leave us a review to help others discover the Lowcountry lifestyle.